accept that we want permanency in life, and those who cause it are bad. But what if those who fix can? Such is the case for Frankenstein monster, the morally ambiguous creation of what Dr. Frankenstein, or Freddy Fazbear, the monstrous consequence of the missing children incident. While we are here trying to figure out who would win over all of powers, let's get our uncle. E-man, what's up? You need to go over the type of character. Thanks, but how did you know what's happening in real time? Well, shite for Freddy will be using the Origenal game's special delivery and the books. I don't think anything happened in the books, but maybe he was deployed into the army or something. For Frankenstein will be using the Universal movies, the original book, and nothing else because trust me, it's a noob. The 1880s known for. Wait, let me check really quick.
Eventually.
I still have nothing, but Dr. Frankenstein was a crazed inventor who truly believed he could bring the dead back. But I mean, many people have tried this, so it wouldn't possibly. Oh my god, he did it first. Right out, I've been trying for years, but I haven't even gotten close. Anyway, his creation wants to be free, but it is stuck because of Dr. Frankenstein and Dr. Goldman. But when Hunchback tries to attack Frankenstein, he pays the ultimate price. So I guess we shouldn't have too much sympathy for the Hunchback because... He did go for gold, but on his way out he got a case of butterfingers. So he had to choose the crusty bread instead. So about Dr. Goldman, well that was rude, didn't even show his teeth. I mean it's literally a horror movie, I wanna see people die. Oh god, I regret my statement. Well, now Frankenstein's out and about. Every owns against him. Luckily he's not a pushover, not even close. Being reanimated makes it so that Frankenstein can use electricity in metal, being able to absorb it. One time he was able to use electricity to electrocute. Frankenstein can break through wooden doors with ease, being stronger than the Wolfman who was able to kill someone just by jumping into land. But his best strength feat, he was able to lift Dr. Frankenstein up a series of ladders to get to the top of the windmill, to give the movie a good ending. Though it was a trap, the golden Falk set the windmill ablaze because of the whole girl dying thing. Starting the trend of Frankenstein movies always ending with him on fire, ending this tale of inventions gone awry, and how humans should stop inventing things for their own good. Just kidding, he got saved by a windmill blade because of money. Then Frankenstein is befriended by Dr. Pretorius, who taught Frankenstein to sing for some reason. After a while, Dr. Frankenstein and Dr. Pretorius try to make a bride for Frankenstein. It works, but when she meets Frankenstein it doesn't go so well. After this, Frankenstein sacrifices himself so he can finally stay dead like he was supposed to be, ending with a massive explosion of violently fragments this 5-story building. Using my super big massive brain, it would be over 7 million joules, which for scale is over 1,000 tons of TNT. He has also survived a lot of other things, but he'll just put that on the right so this doesn't brag. But after that, Frankenstein meets Igor, who is the true villain of the franchise. For now on, Frankenstein ends up getting set ablaze a third time now. Don't worry, he came back somehow. but is not always the sharpest tool in the shed. In fact, he had to switch grades to be able to actually win against the humans before getting burned again. In his fight with the Wolfman actually would won if he didn't win a die, because Frankie's Jen, for being as strong and durable as he is, cannot move nearly as fast as the average human being, let alone the werewolf. He also has a real tendency to die because of fire. It's likely one thing that can kill him. No idea how or why though. But even with all of that being said, Frankenstein is a victim of its creation. That just happened to have the body of a monster, but it inspired many future horror flicks that brought joy to millions of people around the world.
Yes, go! You live! Go! You stay. We belong dead.
In 1987, William F. Henry and Miley opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. The cast included Freddy, Buddy, Chica, Foxy, and the puppet. Why is he here? Let me check.
Eventually.
Wait a minute, is the puppet under anyway after the restaurant opened something changed in William? He had killed 5 kids and stuffed the theme into the animatronics. So he put one into an old and Freddy saw it instead of the puppet. Because look at this thing, it's kind of obvious. But between this and the girl from Frankenstein, I gotta say there is too much child heat in this episode. I go for 1 power for all would never have a child die.
Montage, we got a montage. You want a montage? It is a montage. Montage.
Although there was one thing that William didn't think of, Dreamland. You'll see, Dreamland is basically life essence, but it requires 2 other things to work, agony and the soul. Agony is also essence, but its essence is negative emotion. So if someone is in a really agonizing way, like getting stabbed by a maniac, and gets Dreamland on something related to its agony like a vampire animatronic, Dreamland will fuse with the soul trapping the soul of the child. It's it. Years later, McGill, William's son, comes back using his mother's maiden name to not be confused with his serial killer father. Then the animatronics proceed to confuse him with an endoskeleton and try to put him in a spare suit. Why did McGill come back? Simple. He felt guilty for his brother's skull fracturing during the fight of 83, which will take 1,100 pounds of force to fracture McGill's brother's skull. Here we are in the stats bar and you didn't even notice. Anyway, Freddy has some tricks up his sleeve. Even excluding FNAF World, Freddy still has a microphone which he could throw, but why would he? Freddy is also able to somewhat move his body in him, so he could potentially move his hand to scare someone. Freddy has a vast array of abilities. There are a lot of them, but some include small illusions, teleportation, camera disruption, the works. Even when power off, Freddy can actually still move, because of the advantage of him. In fact, if anything, being powered up makes him stronger. So McGill, after spending a week with the paranormal man, did the thing we would all do. McGill burned the place to the ground, and it was thought that Freddy was gone for good. But remember William, he kind of got himself stuck in an old funny suit. It's a long story, but he ends up getting caught in the fire twice. But his remnant still remained, and so did his suit. So if a pro body can serve him 2 fires, who says a finished version can serve him 1? That was the thought of one clear after William's wife and soul older after the robotics. She used the old broken animatronics, but she had put that back whatever. Now this didn't make that stronger, faster, or more durable. This upgrade just changed their minds to follow Claire's orders, or so she thought. What she really did was make that instinctual monster who searched for Red-Bat. The best way of getting Red-Bat, murder. Luckily they have the speed to do the job. See this? But she has just got blinding, and Freddy can scale to that, meaning that I can factually say that Freddy moves at the speed of light, which is my turn. Although this leaves Freddy without any thought, one of the universal weaknesses of all animatronics is electricity. This is because electricity creates heat, and heat melts Red-Bat. His movements are very clunky because he is a very old animatronic. Even as an animatronic, Freddy still has the mind of a child. He can still be very fighting as long as he has a soul. Even with all of those weaknesses, Freddy was still able to jump in with all of the animatronics becoming the bomb. In this form, he was finally able to kill his killer William Afton and rest forevermore. These books are crazy. I mean, considering their origins, I would think that they would be way weaker. But it's about time to see who would win the Power Brawl.
When you wake up, just remember, friends are for... I planned something special just for you. You stay. We belong dead.
Whoa, that is an ending that can make an artificial intelligence cry. But not this artificial intelligence. Get back in there, dear. Now this might seem like a lie, so let's address the elephant in the room. Freddy's speed. Freddy can move at the speed of light. That is true, but his movements are also really clunky, so his joints are able to move at the speed of light, but his entire body can't even if it could. Freddy is a really old animatronic by the time we see him, so his speed must decrease a bit because he is withered by time. So besides speed, Frankenstein sort of squeezed the floor. Freddy was able to survive his Miseria crashing down, but Frankenstein is able to take a quest that could significantly level a tower and survive the 5-story fall right after. But there is still the agony version of Freddy, but I say it does not really count. Freddy is the suit with the soul and the programming. The agony form has no soul or programming to speak of, so does it really count? Frankenstein is able to punch through doors like exotic butters, while Freddy can't break through metal doors. So because Frankenstein was stronger, more durable, and probably smarter, Freddy couldn't keep his head in the game. The winner is Frankenstein's monster. Next time on Power Bro.
I am the ultimate insanity and carnage! Let's see how fast you can run!